just did the only thing I could, which was focus on the product, make it so good that people will tell other people about it. And that kind of worked for me, but it took a long time. It took at least 6 months before it hit a tipping point and we had enough people coming. So the initial 6 months was quite miserable, but after that it worked very well. And from the day that I started until now, actually we have not spent a single cent on advertising or costs or such things. We are very in a way product driven even now.
Exactly the same. I think, yeah, I have not spent a single cent on advertising. Once I chickened out and I put $80 in the classified ads. Once. Beyond that, I've never spent a single cent on advertising. I think the main innovations that we picked up was School of Thought was our first business, and we first started. What happened was that somewhere around, I think, the 4th year of operation, we thought that we had a good enough product that we really wanted to start to advertise because we thought that there were more people coming in. But honestly speaking, I don't think we're good about this, but I find advertising extremely unethical. I take something like $12,000 or something, I put a front page ad over there, and someone's going to use it to wrap dog shit somewhere, right? And it's going to last for a day, and it'll disappear, and there's no permanence. I find that really unethical, because that money just disappears so fast. And things over there is like, we're thinking that, so if you have all that money to advertise, then why don't you just take it, right, and think of a more innovative way to spend it? And this is how Broader Perspective was born. The idea was that let's run a current affairs magazine, and in fact there'll be just one logo for the school set, and we'll never ever hard sell this particular school. But because the magazine spoke for itself, then the school got basically business. So basically we designed our marketing to be a business in itself. It was sustainable, it worked, and it started to grow. What's interesting over here is that Food for Thought was really the one that spun the targeting around. Because tuition and magazines, they're not sexy. They're not sexy. Yeah, so the mainstream media didn't find any sexy angle about this over here. And when we opened up Food for Thought, what happened was that all these like food reviews and food bloggers were coming in, and then that's the first media coverage that we got. Right, and then what happened over here was that when they discovered Food for Thought, they said, so who's behind it? And then they discovered actually there was 2 other enterprises behind that, and those things began to get some sort of publicity. And then we're going to spin it from there. And because we exist as a collective that way, and then right now ourselves we're running like 5 to 6 businesses, right, that's broadly, they actually market off each other. Because one particular group that comes in learns about this, and then they learn about the other groups there. We learned that strategy from this company called Small Giants. No, there's a book called Small Giants. It's a brilliant book that talked about, there was this one company that was in the States, I think it was a burger joint, really hot burger joint. The office is that it was very talent driven, so they couldn't scale laterally, right? Because if they ran more and more outlets, right, what happens is that they felt the quality would drop. So what happens is that they kept the brand name, and they used the brand name to actually open up other companies that were similar. So people began to associate the quality with that brand name, even though the product was different. Right, and it's spun off, and that's exactly what we're doing over here. We're spinning out the brand name, right, but we're running out multiple businesses, so we only hire people who are passionate about what we do. I would say exactly the same thing, and my other directors were here to say the best form of advertising is your product. It's your product, right? You run a good product, it will take off, right? Personally, I think marketing is, yeah, it distracts from the product.
But on the topic of brand names, right, like for David, where did Udders come from? And like for the like School of Thought, Food for Thought, Broader Perspective, I mean, where did these names come from?
You don't know what Udders means, right? Anybody does not know? It's actually, you know, cow. Yeah, it's like cow breast or cow tits. And like I said, my principal said was too playful, but we wanted to bring it into our branding. And you know, we came up with a lot of ordinary names like, you know, Ice Cream Heaven or whatever. It's like, so then I thought, you know, I want to call it the Big Udder. Then I went around asking for feedback, and then my guy friends would tell me that, hey, call it the Big Udder. I go there, I expect to see waitresses with big, you know. And that's why we say, okay, that's a bit beyond where we want to go. That's not cheeky anymore. That's Never mind, one step further. So we took out the word big, and for the others we put this little full stops there, so that for the first 10 seconds people may not think of the wrong thing until maybe 10 seconds later. It gives a bit more sophistication. But so far it has worked for us, and it brings out our little cheeky, informal image. What you see me wearing now is what I wear every day to work. Yeah, so it's very informal organization.
Thank you. And what about
we actually don't start the company until we get the right name. So like right now in my mind, there are two other projects that we want to just like spin off. One's a games company. We haven't got the right name yet. So actually I think the longest time we spent designing the name was 9 months or so. Yeah. And we've got a really nice team that will sit down there and they will brainstorm and they'll keep running the name. And just think of it, it has to be catchy, it has to be smart, it has to be sexy, it has to come to a place where it runs on resonance, it has to run branding there. So we've never learned branding, but I think all of us, a lot of us are lit majors. I'm a theatre major, so I think for yours too. Right, so I'm a theatre major, and I think we've got a very strong sense of what is catchy for people, right, or all makes sense. But yes, I think a name is probably very crucial.
Ben, I'm sorry I forgot to ask you about your greatest marketing strategy.
Okay. I think to me the greatest marketing strategy we've gone through, because that was a niche market, is actually by word of mouth. Alright? I think it applies everywhere, getting the right product so that you have the best product and then people try it and they pass it up by word of mouth. It would spread, hopefully virally. Word of mouth is one. That doesn't cost anything. Like for Hauslab, because we deal in the high-end market, so it's a very niche targeted market. You mingle in that group, you pass the word out, and then that's how the referrals come back. In my restaurant businesses, we have no choice, but we have to find ways and means to market it. I would say yes, we do spend on marketing. Unfortunately, it's very expensive. But my focus is always very targeted marketing. You must know your market, all right? So you won't see us taking a huge ad out in the newspapers. Okay, it doesn't make sense. But you can always standard things like mail drops within the vicinity where your outlets would be is one way that we've done. Those are not very expensive to do, but it gets some awareness out. And if there are mail drops, if you can put some free coupons in there, make sure they grab certain attention, right? And then for the design and build, it's very targeted in certain publications that you want to go into. Like I'm sure you all have seen Home and Decor. A lot of people read that. Even though that's not our real actual market, but they've come to us by giving us free publicity. All right, they feature certain of our work, so in return we will spend a little bit. But it has given us spin-offs also. So it's really word of mouth, number one, number two, targeted marketing, which sometimes you can even get it free, because if you know people in the business of marketing, I mean your magazine editors, whatever, like for my restaurants. Let's have a food tasting session. Invite 40, 50 journalists down. They read, they eat, and then they'll go back and write about it. Even if it's bad, they still write, right? They do it online. They do it in the magazines. So that also helps. Yeah. So that's for us. We have spent some money, but it's paid off pretty okay.
Jeff?